Hi, I'm Peter Sage. Today I'm going to try to explain the story of where very, very good melons come from. The family farm at Table Rock has been the place where I've been growing melons for 50 years. I used it to put myself through college, and now it's sort of an adult hobby in my retirement. Great melons don't grow on trees. They grow in dirt, on the ground. Most of the time, people don't get good melons. They don't get them because they're picked green and they're shipped a long way away. But very good melons are possible if you grow them right, you pick them right, you handle them right, and you deliver them right, and then you eat them promptly. That's what I'm going to show you how to do today. In order to get to the farm, we went past nice orchards and now through a old industrial zone called White City. It's got very, very lousy soil here. They call it the agate desert. These 70-year-old trees here were grown by planted by my grandfather, Charles Weldon Sage. And this building right near our farm is now a church, but for years and years it was the old Table Rock School. This is where my father went to school. Most of the work on the farm to make melons is done with a hoe and by pulling things by hand. But preparation of the ground gets done with this small tractor and the tiller behind it. I'm out here hoeing a little practice field that I have to see if I can grow melons on this part of the farm. And this is what I planted these late. This is what itty-bitty seedlings of cantaloupe look like. Those are about 2 weeks after being planted. It took a week to come out of the ground, and that's what they look like after one more week. I also grow watermelons. You see, here's a watermelon plant that started. I grew these. These are about 6 weeks old. You notice two things. One is some of the melons have started, and the second are these little yellow flowers. See them here? The yellow flower here, and the yellow flowers there. That's those may well, if they get pollinated, may well have a melon on them, and I'll be able to harvest them in about 2 months. This is my wash stand. I have clean water from the house that is I use to wash the melons in this tub, and then I take the melons from here, having been washed off, I put them on this wash rack, and they slowly roll their way down here, drip drying as they tumble. Then I pick them up from here, put them back into a clean bin, and bring them up to people where I deliver them. One nice thing about the melons I'm creating is that I know that they've been handled cleanly and well from the time they were picked until the time I deliver them. Today is July 13th, and as you've seen here what the melons look like now. They are vining out. They almost but don't quite come together. I planted them a little too close together, but at this point the melons look terrific. What I do at this time of the year is go through, and when I see problems, I get rid of them. As you see, I pulled this melon off. This melon has a bad shape in it that it will never grow out of. There's no use keeping a melon on the vine and giving that melon its energy, since it's never going to do anything. So I just pull this one off and throw it away. The second thing I do is I check to see how the water is. I've had to water the melons exactly 4 times, and that's probably the last time I'm going to water them. But if they need water, I've got the pipes out here and I can turn the water on. The third thing I do is I look for weeds. Sometimes they get away from me, and see this big weed here? I'm going to try to carefully pull it out without injuring the plants. That weed is gone. The fourth thing I do is look for cucumber beetles. They're little green and yellow bugs, look a little bit like ladybugs, and they eat up the leaves of the plants, and when I find them I need to spray for them. I don't like to spray for them more than I have to, but it's better to have plants that are healthy rather than ones that have bugs eaten off them. And you see, the little lambkins, I call the happy frogs, are hiding in there. They're actually 3 big melons. 1, 2, 3. But they're hiding, and they're the same color as the branches, and they're hard to see. The kinds of melons that I used to get myself put through high school and college were the Tuscan style. These are melons that have ribs on them. Here's what they look like when they're little. Here's what they look like when they're a little bigger. And here's what the one that is almost but not quite big enough to eat. It's still about a month away from being ripe, however. You see how they're hidden in there, and you see what the stripes look like? Well, this is what the field looks like about 4 weeks before I'm able to start picking the first one, or maybe 3 weeks. The important thing with melons is you don't pick them until they're fully ripe. You pick them when they're ripe, you wash them and clean them carefully, and then you deliver them immediately, and then you have something that is really extraordinary, a very, very good melon. The best way to get a good melon is to get one at a farmer's market in season, and that's what I do.